JD Vance is the strongest candidate to take over the office of the presidency if necessary. He's the guy you put in the driver's seat for 2028. He's the one who can help you get across the finish line on November 5th. To me, that guy was probably Ron DeSantis. But barring DeSantis, there were worse choices Trump could have made than J.D. Vance. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
That is for sure. So how did it hit you? It just kind of struck me as,
It was interesting yesterday as the day unfolded. You had, I guess, Donald Trump had a conversation with RFK, and so the rumors really started like,
that it was
going to
be him.
Is this going to be the unity ticket? And really, they were probably just talking about Secret Service protection, which RFK got yesterday. Thank you, Mayorkas. It's about time.
Wow.
And Trump now has presidential level. But then you started to see the reports of Marco Rubio was instructed that, or wasn't notified that he wasn't the pick. Doug Burgum wasn't the pick. And then at the same time, those notifications are coming. We have video from Ohio of JD Vance leaving his house. Which kind of the puzzle pieces started to fall into place early afternoon.
What, you think this is unusual? Where they get a police escort in a caravan?
Well, like I said on my live stream yesterday, is I would have just, if I got the call that I wasn't the pick, I would just call a limo service and drive me to the airport and then just hang out at the airport just to throw the press off and have some fun. But no, I actually, you said there could be worse choices. 100% there could be worse choices.
Yeah.
I thought with the unity ticket thing, I thought maybe this helped Tulsi Gabbard out. And you could say, look, unity, here's a Democrat. Not the case, but I can absolutely live with J.D. Vance.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking, let's go over his policy positions. Tell me what you disagree with here. Okay? Let's see if we can find areas of huge disagreement where you're like, I can't vote for this guy. Are there any? On abortion, Vance opposes abortion rights, even in the case of incest and rape, but says there should be exceptions when the mother's life is in danger.
Yeah, and don't forget recently he came out in support of the abortion pill.
Then that's because Trump did. So, that's problematic. I definitely disagree with that. Yeah. The rest of his abortion platform is like, leave it to the states.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't go wrong with backing the U.S. Constitution. I think when all else fails, when in doubt, go with the Constitution. On Ukraine, he's been one of the leading opponents of U.S. support for Ukraine in the war. Okay, let's stop sending them all this money.
Yeah.
Let's convince them to get to the table with Putin and talk peace.
Yeah, he said we're tired of paying for yachts for ministers in Ukraine. Thank you.
Gosh. And we know we're doing that.
Oh.
From Ukrainian sources, we know we're doing that. But he said, I think it's ridiculous that we're focused on this border in Ukraine. I've got to be honest with you. I don't really care what happens to Ukraine one way or the other.
Somebody said it.
Somebody said it.
Honestly, if you think about it.
That sounds harsh.
It does. And then if you take a step back and you say, do you want your sons and daughters dying for the border between Ukraine and Russia? Hell no. Then you are agreeing with JD Vance.
Would a single person in this country say yes? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't know anybody. But he led the unsuccessful battle in the Senate to block the $60 billion military aid package recently for Ukraine. He said, I voted against this package in the Senate and remain opposed to virtually any proposal for the United States to continue funding this war. Thank you. Okay? I can get behind that. He said, Mr. Biden has failed to articulate even basic facts about what Ukraine needs and how this aid will change the reality on the ground.
Exactly.
On immigration, that was the subject of one of his first ads for his campaign run in Ohio for Senate. While most ads are written by consultants, Vance said he wrote this one himself. Joe Biden's open border is killing Ohioans. With more illegal drugs and more Democrat voters pouring into this country. Not to mention, potential terrorists. His views of course, largely echo those of Trump. He wants the wall built. Let's finish the wall. Let's do that. Let's not grant amnesty to 30 million illegal aliens. Just because they've been breaking the law for a long time doesn't mean we reward them for that. On January 6th, he said this: I think the election was stolen from Trump. He dismissed the idea that Trump played a role in instigating the demonstrators who stormed the Capitol, as do I. That's not Trump's fault. He did not tell anybody to do that. And he said that if he'd been Trump's vice president, he would have bowed to Trump's demand and rejected electoral votes from several swing states won by Biden. Okay, so that's a pretty
That's easy to
solid.
say now.
Yeah, it is.
But okay,
It is.
I like it.
But do you think that might have been part of what swayed Trump to bring him in?
I do like the sentiment there.
Yeah. Yep. He said, I think politics and politics people like to really exaggerate things from time to time. Look, January 6th was a bad day. It was a riot. But the idea that Donald Trump endangered anyone's lives when he told them to protest peacefully, it's absurd.
Thank you.
I think he's so right about that. And we know that January 6th has been blown out of all proportion.
Yep.
On tariffs, he's called for broad-based tariffs, especially on goods coming from China. That's the Trump position, because they pose an unfair threat to American jobs and commerce. We need to protect American industries from all of the competition, he said on Face the Nation a while ago. I'm a free trade guy. As a conservative, I think free trade is the way to go. But, Trump makes compelling arguments when he says that's a one-sided thing. And it is. It is. They hit every American product with all the fees and tariffs and taxes they possibly can. So it is unfair. On climate change, he said it's not a threat and has said he's skeptical of the scientific consensus that warming of the Earth's atmosphere is caused by human activity. Thank you. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much exactly my position. He said it's been changing, as others pointed out. It's been changing for millennia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can't deny that. You can't deny. Look, even if it is catastrophic, do you really believe that we can change the climate? There's no way. If they were honest with themselves, they'd admit that. Where there's not much we can do about it. But at this point, it's not catastrophic. And it's not caused by humans. It's caused by something called the sun. And things like El Nino.
Where are you getting that?
Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it? To blame it on a 2 million degree burning orb in the sky. Why would you even think that has anything to do with the warmth on this planet?
Maybe you revisit that hypothesis later.
Okay.
That's not your leading theory, right?
Right,
that
yes.
It's coming from that big orb in the sky.
I know it is preposterous, but we'll talk about that sometime. On the Middle East, Vance has been a steadfast supporter of Israel throughout the country's war in Gaza, defending their wartime policies, even though there's growing criticism from all corners. When members of the Senate considered a bill providing military aid to both Israel and Ukraine, Vance led a group of senators proposing legislation to send money only to Israel. Echoing the words of Benjamin Netanyahu, he said the country needed to eliminate Hamas. Israel has an achievable objective, Vance wrote in a memo. Ukraine does not. I mean, that's a really good point.
Were you aware that his life story is on Netflix? I only found this out yesterday. Again,
is it Hillbilly Elegy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn Close, Amy Adams, directed by Ron Howard.
I didn't know there was a movie, frankly. I didn't know that.
I was clueless until yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Now
I'm going to watch
it
it
now.
now.
Yes.
Yeah. It's about, he didn't grow up in Tennessee on the Appalachian Trail, but his mom did. And so I guess it's about poverty there and all of that.
So make something of yourself.
Be interesting, right? Mm-hmm. Be good. So JD Vance, I don't know. You could do a lot worse. And I think he's a decent choice.